Well, welcome to this week's training on the Currency Clarifier. And what I'm going to do in this training is to help you get clear on the value that you bring so that you can start talking in the language of your perfect fit client. And in the end, have them coming to you and wanting your offers because they're irresistible. So let's take a look through it. By the way, there's a worksheet for this. If you haven't got the worksheet just yet and you're watching this in the live, then just type currency in the comments and I will get a copy to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the notes. And if you're watching this on my page, then there's a button down below that you can click on and get a copy of the workbook. And if you haven't got it yet, then hey, just get a piece of paper, get ready. We're going to go nice and quick through this. I want you to get the concepts and show you how you can actually go from being invisible to people starting to hear you because you're talking their language. All right. So this is one of the modules in our Growth Accelerator. And this is in the whole area of audience alignment, getting yourself aligned with perfect fit clients. And this is what we're doing here today, which is Currency Clarifier. So when you do actually have an avatar and you know what their currency is, and then you can say you've got an audience, because they're people that are going to be actually listening to what you say. When you know this currency that I'm going to teach you to find today, and then you create from that a magnetic message, you're doing that in alignment with who you actually want to see your stuff, who you actually want to have as clients. And therefore, at the same time, the people who aren't a fit for your, the work that you do, are not going to be aligned to you. So you're not going to have that problem either. And getting that magnetic message crafted and having it in that hot avatar, which is ready for you right now, they take action. And that's what I really want you to do, is to get more clients. So this is part of the puzzle. And let's have a look at some of the reasons why we need to do this. Because here's some of the things that I see right now that's stopping you from getting clients, stopping coaches, stopping trainers from actually getting clients or getting the wrong clients. So the first thing is irrelevant messaging. So you're talking away, but it's not something that they want to hear. So they just keep scrolling, show you the hand, and don't listen. The second thing is an emotional disconnect, where it's all words, but it doesn't really connect with them. And what they do is change the channel. So you're speaking Coach FM and they're thinking Prospect FM. They keep changing the channel until they find the message that actually fits them. And you end up getting a trickle of leads because no one's actually picking up what you're putting down. All right, so what I want to do is help you to get different results. I want to help you to be able to actually get the results that you need so that you can have the practice that you want. So to do that, we're going to narrow your focus. So instead of going after everyone, we're going to go after a specific part of the marketplace. We're going to learn how to build a perfect fit bait. And part of the process of getting that whole audience alignment is to do that so that there's something that you can throw out there that's going to actually attract them. But you've got to get the message right first. And then what you end up having is synchronization. And instead of them scrolling, it's like they're sitting in front of you, they've got their popcorn, and they're going, give me more. I can't take my eyes off the screen. And that gives you a flood of leads. And not just leads, it gives you leads that are perfect fit leads for you. It's not about getting numbers. It's not about getting likes. It's about getting people who are the right fit for you right now. All right, so I've created this resource for you to be able to do that. Once again, if you don't have the worksheets, the workbook, then if you're watching this live, just put, or in the group, just put the word currency in the comments. I'll get a copy to you. If you're on YouTube, it's in the show notes. There's a link. If you're watching this on any of my other pages, then there'll be a button there right on this page, just down below. Click on that, get hold of the worksheets. And it's the Currency Clarifier. It's going to help you to get super clear so that you start speaking a secret language that you don't yet know. All right, so let's have a little bit of a look at what normally goes on here. So there's 3 things that we want to do. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we connect. Once we've connected, we want to be able to communicate. And when we communicate, we want to make sure that we capture their attention, but more importantly, capture their name and their email. Get them into our sales system, into our nurture system. But here's what I find. When we get this wrong and we try to connect, we actually do the opposite. We actually disconnect. We actually create a barrier between them and us, and they don't want to hear. So what we do, what we want to do instead when we get this right is we actually attract. People actually are drawn to you because of what you are saying. When we communicate, if we get this wrong, it's normally one way, right? You're throwing the stuff out there, you're saying it, and there's nothing coming back. But when you get this right, you're actually going to be having 2-way conversations. And people are actually going to comment back to you. They're going to hit reply on the email, whatever it is, they're going to make the conversation 2-way. And the conversations are what creates conversions. When we are capturing, when we get this wrong, we end up with all these tire kickers. We end up with numbers on a list that don't do anything, right? You cannot take leads to the bank. They won't accept them as a currency. We need leads, but we want them to be leads that are actually right leads for us. And when we get this right, we end up capturing buyers. All right, so what I want you to do is have a look at that right now. Have a look at that and go, well, where am I with this? Okay, when I connect with people, is there a disconnect there? Or am I actually attracting people? When I communicate with them, are they talking back, or is it just me talking all the time? And the leads that you're getting, do they quickly go to the next step, or are they just having a look? It's just something else that they've downloaded or whatever, or do they go and become buyers? So having a look at that right now, how do you connect? How do you communicate? How do you capture? So this is actually going to help you to get this in the green zone. All right. So now you know what your reality is. Now you know where it is for you in terms of, what it is that you need to work on. So what I'm going to do now is just step you through and give you the content that you need to be able to go through this. All right, so just so you've got some context, and I'm not going to go really deep into this, but when we run our whole program, we talk about currency in terms of a primary currency and a secondary currencies. So our primary currency is what we're going to look at predominantly today. And then when I create a program and we work with our coaches to create, their hero program, their coaching program, whatever it is, we look at some sub-currencies as well. But today we want to talk about your primary currency. So what is a currency? It's something that you exchange for value. Okay? Something you exchange for value. So what it is in the context of what we're talking about here, it's how your perfect fit client measures their result, measures success, measures whatever it is that they are looking for. So there's a couple of currencies on the screen here, and I'll tell you what they all are in a moment, that tend to stand out. And the reason for that is they're what we're going to ask our clients for when they work with us. So the first currency is money. So income, revenue, whatever it is, this is what they want, depending on the type of coaching that you're doing. And the second one is time. And we can't buy time, but time is what we do with that time is what people want. So they want some freedom in their calendar. They want to be able to spend time with their kid, whatever it is. So money and time tend to be, up there in terms of, one or the other have something to do with what every client or potential client wants. But you may not just measure what value you bring in one of those. So, some of the others, and you might call them, different things, but some of the others might be things like, I've heard people call it happiness. We might have well-being. We might have something like significance. And then we might have something that's a little bit more, tangible for them. And it's some sort of reward or award or something like that. So getting clear on what your particular clients that you want, how they measure their success, their results, is really, really important. All right. So the first step for you to do that is you have to make sure that you're clear on what it is that you do. What's the problem that your perfect fit clients have that you, with your program, promise that you're actually going to help them to fix? So, it could be like, if I look at what I do, it could be I don't have enough clarity. So I work with coaches who don't have enough clarity around their message, around who they are, around what they want. Right? It could be around the fact that they don't have enough content. They don't know what content to use. They don't know how to use best practice presentation, whatever it is. And the third big problem is that they don't have enough clients. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough revenue coming in to sustain the practice that they're in. So your program that you are taking them on takes them through some steps to get to whatever it is that they want. So here's the thing. This is what we need to be able to know so that we can then put it into a currency. So if the perfect fit client for me is a coach who wants to increase their income, then they definitely want more money, want more revenue, more income. Okay. For me as well, the coaches want to make a bigger impact. So it's more significance, growth is what it's all about. But what is it for you? So you've got to get clear on that first. All right, so once you get clear on that, you can then go in and use our formula here, and you can then look at your particular currency. So just to help you to know what to do when you're doing this sheet is we've got at the top here my category. So my category is coaching. So what is it for you? What is it that you're actually doing? And if you're in this group, if you're watching this in my group, then you're a coach, right? So coaching could be your thing. But what we want to do is find out what your currency is. So to do that, we're going to go through and reverse engineer what it is that you're doing so you can get some more clarity. So if you have a look here, what your clients want to do is they want to increase some things and they want to decrease some things. So the first thing to do is to come up with a list of the things that they want to increase. So as I said, the coaches that I work with, they want to increase their clarity. They want to increase the amount of clients they've got, etc. So what do you want to increase? And then what do they want to decrease? So my clients want to decrease the energy that's taken from them. They want to decrease overwhelm. They want to decrease clutter. They want to decrease a number of things, but I need to be able to capture all those. Then what we do and what you're going to do is then go from the increase, decrease. You now want to look at the metric and the timeline. So what are we talking about there? So people want a result. They measure that in certain ways and they want it in a particular time. So your whole promise has got to be able to, if it's going to attract, it's got to be able to have these elements in it. So the metric, for example, if I was doing here income, they want to make 15 to 20 grand a month, and they want to be able to do that be doing that in the next 6 months. So this is what we've got to do. Go through and look at those things. You might have some other things like, as I said before, things like clarity. So how do you measure that? So clearly clarity is not something that you can measure because you either know it or you don't and whatever, and people are different. So just what I like to do is just put hard to measure. And by doing that, I know that that's not what I'm going to focus on. All right, so then by going through that whole process on both the increase and the decrease side, you're going to come up with a number of things. You're going to be able to look at what are the primary ones. What are the ones that really they're looking for so that your overall and what it is that's your genius and where you're going to lead them. And when they go from that point A, which is where they are now, to point B with you, what is that point B? That's what we really got to get clear on. So then when you know that, you can put in your currency. All right, by the way, if you haven't got this worksheet, just type the word worksheet below and I will make sure that you get a copy. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the show notes. If you're watching this on any of my pages, there'll be a button for you to just hit and you can get a copy. All right, so what are your insights? What have you got out of this? What have you learnt? All right, I'd love to see some comments drop down below. And then more importantly, what are you going to do with it? What's the next thing you're going to do? When I work with coaches in our Growth Accelerator, we go through this whole process in every single training. It's great to learn getting clear on, well, what's my next step? What's the first thing you're going to do? And what's the impact going to be? When you have so much clarity around what your potential client actually wants, what is it that will do to your business? How will that impact what you're doing? And probably more importantly for me, how will that impact the people that you're on the planet to serve? Those people that you know are the right fit clients for you. So if you want to know anything more about our growth coaching or about anything that we do, make sure you just leave a comment down below. One of our team will get in touch with you. If you want a copy of the worksheet, just put the word currency in the comments If you're watching this on a page, there'll be another way, either a button or a link, that you can get access to the worksheets as well. So have an amazing week. Go and work out the currency that your clients actually want. What is it that they call the result? How do they measure that? And then you can communicate to that, and you're going to attract more people. All right. I'll see you in next week's live.